Now then, people, good evening and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all doing well. Before we get into it, please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. Now, the reason we're early, we're going to be talking... I've spoke to Tom, who's coming on, the Portsmouth fan, set for 9:30. I think he's going to come a little bit earlier, but because what I wanted to do before I spoke to Tom is just quickly go through the Leeds United news that's been popping off. So I thought we could have a nice 15-20 minutes, whatever it may be, depending on when Tom arrives. I said 30:30, but I think he said he might pop on a little bit sooner, which is totally fine. Tom from 4-0 Written All Over It podcast also does an EFL podcast, so we'll have a keen eye on Leeds United as well. So we'll get the insider scoop on Portsmouth a little bit later on. But before we do that, I just wanted to go through the Leeds United news. Also, I swear to God, that title earlier on that other video, I don't think I've ever had, like, the comments popped off. So you massively helped the algorithm. So big up to everyone for commenting and being absolute nerds. Try to teach me English and all that, you absolute nerds. But thank you very much, because you popped it off, which helped the algorithm. So those that wanted to have a dig, you actually helped me with the algorithm. So big up to you all. Thank you for that. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Nonto to Spurs. Exactly. Spurs to Nonto. So we've had, obviously, chitter-chatter on Johnny Rowe. Joe Donohue's done an article. Nothing, like, new in the article. Just like, look, both parties will probably get the deal done. And it makes sense to for it to happen. We've seen some wild links. We've seen us linked to Pedence. We've seen us linked to what's his face, Michael Keane. Please, honestly, when you look at these accounts, just know that it is just pure bait at this point. We've had some chatter on Liam Cooper as well. No concrete offer tabled as Daniel Farker pays tribute. So there hasn't been a concrete offer offered, apparently, to Liam Cooper. So I don't know what's actually going on there. I don't know if Leeds United are waiting for a replacement or whatever, and then might say, oh, Liam, just come back. But yeah, while it is understood that Leeds believe Cooper would have found himself a club elsewhere by now, there has been no official farewell from either party, and there was no mention of him when the club confirmed their new leadership group. Obviously, Ethan Ampadu, Pascal Strauch and Ilian Meslier. The managers paid tribute to him as well. But currently, Cooper has interest from a pair of championship clubs and has also begun to consider the idea of moving abroad as he waits for the right deal. Last summer, he rejected the chance, of course, to go to the Middle East because Leeds wanted to keep him at that time. But yeah, there's been no concrete offer. Look, he's not going to come back to Leeds United. I wish they would. I wish he would sort it out, really, so we can sort of like bid a fond farewell, if you like. So, yeah, they were on the retained list, were both Liam Cooper and Jamie Shackleton, but there were no contract offers. You know, the YEP understands Leeds only tabled something for Shackleton, which did not match what was on offer from Sheffield United. So I don't know if Cooper's a bit like, what? Yeah, Leeds made a verbal suggestion of what they would be willing to consider in principle, which included a salary reflective of his game time, so probably next to nothing. And the money involved will be less than he could reasonably expect to earn in League One. And though there were talks between the club and Cooper's camp, no contract offer has been made or rejected. I think that stinks a little bit personally. You know, but then again, we're not, you know, as people say, we're not a charity, right? We're not a charity. So those that hate the old guard will be buzzing with this news that the football club basically offered him something comparable to a League One wage, so you can understand why. And it wasn't even really a contract offer. It's clear the club are moving on from it. And I think that's quite sad. But at the same time, as everyone would say, yeah, it's sad. It's sad. But Paddy's on 40k a week. But what can you do, though? You can't, Craig. If Paddy was also at the end of his contract, maybe he'd have been offered a derisory offer as well. But I hear what you're saying, Jamie. I do. But still a bit sad for a guy that spent as long as he did. But like people tell me on a regular basis, we're not a charity. So yeah, Liam Cooper still without a football club. I hope that gets sorted soon. As I say, we've seen Raksaki. Raksaki looks like he's on his way to Sheffield United. It's not guaranteed at this stage, but it does look like they have won the race for his signature. I've said for a while, it'd be difficult for us to do. I said before Somerville was properly like going to West Ham. I said the only way he comes in is if one of him or Nonto leave. Then Somerville went, and you're thinking, okay, maybe Raksaki's ours now, but then obviously we're linked to Johnny Rowe. Then you look at some of the clubs that have been linked to Raksaki. Hull, who would have guaranteed him game time. Sheffield United, who are, let me say on Sheffield United, there's a lot of Leeds fans speaking on Sheffield United. I know I was very scathing towards them earlier on in the summer. But like Benjamin Bloom confirmed last night, 6 weeks ago, they didn't have a squad. Now they do. And now they have to be taken... they have to be taken seriously, for sure. It looks like they've won the race for Raksaki. I think they've agreed to pay a big wage to him, actually increasing what he's on now, I'm led to believe. But this is what Alan Nixon says. Sheffield United are meeting the loan demand to sign wanted man Jeshan Raksaki from Crystal Palace. Blades have already sorted out a wage deal to tempt the wide man Raksaki, but had to fork out a 7-figure sum to pay the club as well. Palace let Raksaki go for the season after coach Glasner decided to let him move on for regular game time. Several clubs were prepared to pay the Palace loan fee demand, including QPR, Hull, Leeds and Watford. However, the attraction and funding from the Blades won the day. It is the latest eye-catching capture by United, who had to work within a changing budget and while in the middle of a takeover bid. So they look to have run the race, although it's not confirmed yet, but I think it will be. And they've brought in Alfie Gilchrist as well, who probably will play right back for them, may even drop in at centre back. We'll have to wait and see. But everyone going mad on Sheffield United. I hear you, I get it, they're doing great business, but just know that our squad is better. Our squad is better man for man. We have continuity. They had to buy all these players, you know. But they're doing really good business, really good business. I'm not going to take anything away from them. We'll be speaking in a little bit more detail to a Sheffield United fan tomorrow, Hal, for the White Rose Rivals podcast, back at 6 o'clock. And this time there's 7 of us. 7 of us. And it's not exclusive to the Championship. We have Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, yours truly, Leeds United. We have Huddersfield, we have Barnsley, we have Rotherham, and we have Hull. There we go. 7. 7 of us. Okay, so make sure you get involved. Make sure you get involved in that show as well. There's also been an update on Ljubicic. Ljubicic, so there are a couple of reports now in Germany saying that basically Leeds need to up their bid. I thought it was quite interesting on Joe Donohue's piece that he sort of left the door open. I think Leeds United are going to go back in for Ljubicic based on some of the wording used in Joe Donohue's article, and I think Graham might have said something as well, like as though that Leeds United haven't give up the ghost yet. You know, give up the ghost. Give up. I think they're still there. But it is being reported in Build that in order for us to get him, it would take an increased offer. Obviously, we only bid about €4 million anyway. It's probably not going to cost too much, but maybe Leeds United are doing that thing of, okay, right, we'll wait. And then they'll put the bid in later in the window when they'll need to do business, okay? So that looks like it still could be a goer. Of course, Leeds United fans got a bit giddy earlier on as well with the link to, or more so, the player Forson Amwanka. Amawanka, I basically just said, didn't I? Forson Amawanka. That's not his name, but I am a wanker. Forson Amankwa. Forson Amankwa is his name. Red Bull Salzburg. So straight away you're thinking, ooh, what's going on here? But he's predominantly a midfielder. Plays in the centre of midfield, 21-year-old. I see it more as a Gabi Sara replacement as opposed to a Johnny Rowe replacement. You can see here, that's his season heat map. If we look at his main position, is midfield, although he has played in a number of positions previously, as said so on the tweet, which of course got Leeds United fans' tongues wagging. But he is a box-to-box midfielder, and you're more likely to see him replace Gabi Sara. Okay, but yeah, I think I think that's more for that. But when I did see it, and obviously I think a tweet said he can play here, there and everywhere, and then you're thinking Red Bull Salzburg, and you're thinking, it's some mad skullduggery going down here where Leeds United are, asking Salzburg to sell them him so we can get... Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. But yeah, so that there sort of pours water on. I do think we'll get Rowe, by the way. I think it's still a mover, but I don't think that link there is... like the reason why, if you know what I mean, because of course everyone goes Johnny Rowe replacement, which I get, but I think he's more a Sara replacement as opposed to that, and that's really it on the latest links. Now do smash a like on this video for me. Tomorrow, someone asked earlier on as well, will I be doing a press conference reaction? Yes, I will. Of course, the press conference is back tomorrow at 1:30. We will be there, so I'll be live probably around about 2:30, depending on when Daniel finishes. We will be there. We also have... I'll probably do a pre-recorded preview that'll go out on the evening. Then on Friday, peeps, it's game day. Friday is game day. Which is exciting because obviously the championship is back, so we will be there. I think both games are on, maybe. So we need to decide. I think we'll do Preston Sheffield United. We'll do Preston Sheffield United because I feel like Sheffield United will be rivals this season in terms of the top six, if you like. So yeah. I think we will do that game tomorrow night, Sheffield United versus Preston. We can have a proper look at them. It'll be interesting to see if these new signings go straight in. I think they will, and that's because Sheffield United's squad is... Yes, it's looking good, but it ain't deep. It ain't deep. So we'll do that. We'll do that on Friday. I can't wait for it to be back, I can't lie. I cannot wait for football to be back. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's back, baby. Although it doesn't feel like it ever went, but you hear what I'm saying. And I am going to be doing the opposition previews throughout the season as well. It's just extra content. I like doing them. We can find out about Portsmouth. Because the truth be told, I don't know nothing about them. Genuinely don't know anything about them. So I prepared some questions for Tom. Tom will be with us shortly from 4-0 written all over it pod. It's a proper tongue twister. So he's going to join us there very soon. So show some love for Tom when he arrives. And we're going to be talking about their form, the tactics, key players, key matchups, their playing styles, all that sort of stuff, anticipation, excitement about playing Leeds United, who they're worried about, etc., if indeed they are at all, and just perceptions of what their season's going to look like, What are their expectations? What are their goals for the remainder of the season? Yes, Ryan Cock, what is going on with me tonight? Ryan Cock. I've said I'm a wanker and Ryan Cock. Ryan Kent being spotted in the Peacock having a celebration pint after signing for Leeds. Leeds win league. Matteo, top goal scorer, 25-1. Get the house on it. Sounds like a good plan, that, mate. Harry Suter, meh. Harry Suter's meh. But he's... oh, yeah, and White Rose Rivals, of course. Yeah, that's what I need to put in. That's what I haven't got in. That's what I've totally missed. I need to put that back in my calendar. White Rose. I need to put that reoccurring every week. Repeat every week. Boom, it's in there. And without further ado, he has arrived. Tom from 4-0 Written All Over It podcast. How are you, my man? All good?
I'm very well. Nice to see you, Joe. I appreciate we're going to do this slightly later, weren't we? But we're on ahead of schedule, which is
exactly.
good.
Yeah,
Nice to see you.
And you, mate, it is big news that as well, mate, 'cause I'm always late, like sometimes 10, 15 minutes in some cases. So when I come early, everyone's like, what is going on? What's happening? So it's good. How you doing, mate? Man, we've got football in what? I mean, the season starts on Friday, but, you know, you said you were travelling up to Leeds on Friday night, was it? You must be excited.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We're staying not far from Ellen Road, so yeah, really looking forward to it. I think we've got a pretty decent, sizable allocation in terms of away fans. It was be about 3,000 of us there. So and our first game in the Championship in 4,494 days. Not like we've been counting.
I love that. I was going to say as well, Portsmouth, you'll bring a massive allocation, won't you? You travel really well. You've got a huge support, Portsmouth, to be fair.
We do, and it was one of those things in League One and over the last few seasons. Really, we sell out allocations. I mean, you guys are well versed to selling out away allocations yourselves, so you know what it's like. But there's always a clamour for tickets. Even the Doldrums of League Two, there was clamour for tickets, and our promotion season last year was even more so. So yeah, we've I'd say probably about 80% of them last season sold out within sort of the first couple of priority windows. Very rarely does an away day with Pompey go to general sale these days, which is a good thing. It means that the boys are backed. And we also like to try and make Fratton Park a bit of a fortress as best we can too. So, and that's going to be really needed in the Championship this season for definite. So yeah, good following.
Yeah, definitely. I was speaking to Benjamin Bloom actually yesterday, and he said, you know, specifically about yourselves that Fratton Park, that's going to be your key thing, isn't it, in terms of staying? I mean, I say staying in the division. You might have loftier heights. I don't know. Like, what's your ambitions for this season? Because I can't lie to you. Much of the chat, I don't know much about Portsmouth. It's been that long, and I don't mean this to be, you know, derisory at all. It's just like it has been that long. Like, what are the anticipations for the rest of the season?
Yeah, no, you're quite right. The last time we beat you in the league at Ellen Road was well over 20 years ago now. So yeah, it's there's a couple of league wins in there as well, but it was actually back in the Premier League. Wow. I'm just trying to think where Yakubu scored the goal for us. I think you had Alan Smith playing up top at the time. Wow. So yeah,
that is some time ago. Yeah, that is a long time ago.
Quite a while ago. But yeah, no, we've yeah, sorry. What did you say? I completely distracted myself there.
Yeah, it's because you wanted to get that rib in. That's what it was. I thought I'm gonna have to get this in here. I was asking you, what are your ambitions?
Oh yeah, ambitions. Yeah. So first and foremost is staying up. I think that's got to be the number one, really. And I think any promoted team, if you speak to a Derby fan or an Oxford fan, I'm sure they tell you exactly the same thing. But yeah, and kind of the word from the club has been we want to stay up, and then once we have, when you say once you're relatively safe, you want to see what can you push on and what can you do from there. So yeah, I think we've got a pretty high ceiling in terms of debut Championship seasons and in terms of how far they go. I've been saying over the summer, if our league position starts with a 1, I'll be happy. If it starts with a 2, I'll be less happy. And then if it's single digits, then that's really, really overachieving. So, but I think it's a strong Championship this season. I'm in very little doubt that anyone who finishes above Leeds will be in the Premier League the following season. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys won the league outright as well. So, yeah, nice to get the hard ones out the way early doors in terms of Saturday.
Of course. I mean, having looked, you know, taking into consideration yourselves, knowing you've come up with Oxford and Derby, so you'll know a lot more. Is there any chance that we get another Ipswich and see a team go bang bang, or no?
I just think the backing that Ipswich had from their ownership and the just the whole vibe around the club, really, I suppose. It's one of those where Ipswich were watching them at the time in League One. They're one of the best teams that I think League One had ever seen. Yeah. And although funny enough, they didn't actually win League One. If you actually go back and see, it wasn't actually Ipswich that won it. I believe it was Plymouth. So yeah, but they had a squad that was just absolutely rammed full of talent, and it's actually a very similar squad to the one that's now going to be in the Premier League this coming season. So no, I don't see an Ipswich, although Ipswich didn't do it by sort of getting up to the Championship, spending absolutely loads of money, and then going up against the Premier League. It's a relatively organic squad if you look at it. I know they've spent massive fees and transfers and whatever, but in terms of actually keeping the core of a squad, which is what we've done on our own level. I'm not going to compare ourselves to Ipswich whatsoever, because I don't think there's a world in which that happens. I'd absolutely love it to, but I don't think that's going to happen. So no, in answer to your question, I wouldn't expect, from your guys' perspective, any of the promoted teams to come up and tear many trees up. I think in Oxford's case, they've got a manager that's sort of fresh to the scene and hasn't actually been at Oxford for that long, let alone managed Oxford in the Championship. And Oxford haven't been in the Championship for 25 years. Derby's a slightly different case, isn't it? Paul Warren's managed in the Championship before, but of course not had an awful lot of lots of success promoting teams from League One, but not an awful lot of success keeping teams in the Championship. So I would argue that Pompey are probably best placed of the promoted sides to stay up. I don't know how you would feel about that.
I think it's a decent enough shout. You make a good point on Paul Warren. I think Oxford probably shocked themselves even getting up, with the end to the season that they had, and then obviously getting in the players and coming up. So I think, you're probably bang on the money there. Be down there with the likes, I'd imagine maybe Plymouth, Blackburn could be down there, depending on what happens with Schmodix and stuff, and if they can then... they can then use that money if indeed he does go. So it'll be interesting to see. But there's always a wild card at the top and at the bottom of the division. It's the Championship, isn't it? So, but let's talk about Portsmouth then. So how have you got on in pre-season? How have you been performing in pre-season? And tell us a little bit about what we can expect, from the team on Saturday.
I'll take you right back to the beginning. So I was lucky enough to go out to Croatia with the team, well, not with the team, but to support the team, which was good fun. Bit of time in the sun, and they all looked sharp. They all returned to training really well. We didn't actually have any kind of competitive game against another team out there. It was just 11v11s and that kind of thing. And there were only a couple of occasions where there were open training sessions, but I thought we looked in good shape. We haven't had the best of pre-seasons. Okay. We lost to Charlton weekend just gone. Drew 1-1 with MK Dons. We haven't had any Championship opposition. It was amazing. We were coming out the valley. We lost 2-0 to Charlton. Looked at our phone, and you guys are beating Valencia, and we're like, oh my word, this is going to be fun next weekend. But to be fair, we lost the last 2 games of pre-season last year, and we won the division. So I don't know how much I don't know how much you guys read into pre-season, but particularly the results side of it, I don't think I'm too fussed about. I've been impressed with elements of the performances, and if you speak to Pompey fans, I think their main takeaway from pre-season will be the lack of transfer activity. There'll be some will probably tell you that we feel a little bit underprepared heading into the Championship. We haven't exactly got the easiest of welcomes. We've got yourselves. Luton at home is our first game. We've got Sheffield United in the month of August and Sunderland at our place. So there's a few and West Brom's in there as well. And that's all before the end of August. West Brom's in September, but the rest of those are all before the end of August. So it's not, when you're going from respectfully playing your Fleetwoods and your Burtons week in, week out to then fire straight up into the Championship, I think is going to take some adjusting. But I think John Mousinho is the man to do it. He was the best manager in the division by quite some way last season in League One. He's fresh to it. He was only a player at Oxford United just over 18 months ago. He's a young guy, speaks incredibly well, and one of the opening, and I'll refer back to pre-season, giving you a question, one of the opening sort of packages of video, we have a Pompey Plus thing. I know you guys probably have a TV channel that the internal media guys do. And one of the first clips that was put out was the first meeting back that John Mousinho held with all his players in the new theatre that we've got as we've upgraded our training ground over the summer. And that's another chat for ownership and money that's been funneled in and that kind of thing, which has been really good. So if you want to get onto that, I'm more than welcome to. But the first session back that the guys had in the theatre was John Mousinho stood at the front going, right, there's either 2 ways of looking at this. You can look at the teams that are up on his projector screen next to him and say, what a tough league that is. Crikey, we've got to go to Ellen Road, for example. We've got to go to Bramall Lane. Or actually the flip side and the way that we're going to tackle it is, what an opportunity to get out there, impress, express yourselves, show why we're here, show why we've worked so hard for the last 12 years to get back here. which I think is a really good policy to foster. And I'm glad that we've got the guy that we have got in charge. He's got a great group. He's got a young squad. He's got a hungry squad. Lots of talent in there. Championship experience. We added Matt Ritchie this week, which you may have seen, which we're really pleased with. We've got our captain, boyhood hero and club legend Marlon Pack lead the line with championship experience, as you guys will know about. So yeah, there's a mixture of young and upcoming talent, which has kind of been the recruitment model. And there's also not plenty of experience because we let a lot of it go over the summer, but there's two names there that I've picked out that I think will kind of ground the boys in the tricky times of this season that we're going to have challenges in the championship, that they'll be able to guide us through it. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Good. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned pre-season, because I think it's very much like because we've had really poor ones in the past and then got into the season a totally different beast. And I think the way fans cope with pre-season, if you're losing, you're like, yeah, but it's not about that. But then if you're winning, it's like, oh my God, I'm so confident for the season. They're flying, but it is what it is. And like you say, it doesn't really matter. So in terms of playing personnel then, I know you mentioned a few of the new incomings there. Who are the standout players? Like, is there any key individuals within that 11 that Leeds United need to look at? You know, there's been Murphy mentioned in the chart. You've mentioned there, obviously, returnees. So Matt Ritchie coming back, of course. So who do we need to have a special eye on, if any at all?
It's a bit of an outside shout, but I keep your eye on Cassini Yengi, who'll be our number 9. He's a lad from Australia that joined us in last summer. And he was kind of deputy to Colby Bishop in League One, and Colby Bishop obviously he's got a bit of a heart issue that the club are rectifying, which I identified in pre-season. So we were quite shocked by that news, and we've obviously been sending him all the best. But Cassini Yengi had, and I don't want to get too statistical here, but his goals per 90 ratio was the best of any player pretty much in League One last season. So when he's on the pitch, he scores goals, and not quite sure, it might be a bit of a different beast in terms of him starting, but I just think he offers you something different. He's not your orthodox out and out number 9. He's great with his feet, and he can really sort of get hold of it and make those runs into the box and make things happen. And he's got a little bit of the sort of the swagger about him. He's got a little bit of arrogance, but in a good way. It's difficult to kind of draw a comparison to someone that would be helpful to compare him to, but I think he's a real kind of something that we have in a locker that maybe other teams don't. I wouldn't have thought many teams have a Cassini Yengi. Murphy is a good one. He was probably back end of last season one of League One's best players. Obviously had the day at Wembley where he was the man of the match and scored both the goals to fire Oxford into the Championship. But Oxford fans before that leveled their concerns that he had quite a quiet 18 months before that at Oxford and was kind of had various different off-field issues going on. So if we can get the Josh Murphy that finished the season with Oxford, I think he's a really exciting prospect on the left wing. I mentioned Marlon Pack there. I really like Paddy Lane, who I would imagine will probably start right wing. He's a lad we bought in from Fleetwood. He was the young player of the year in League One the season before we signed him, and he contributed massively to our champions, and he called it championship winning. It wasn't championship winning, League One winning campaign last season. So yeah, and then there's defensive solidity. Regan Paul won't be back and ready to go. But Connor Shotlessy was probably our player of the season last year.
He used to play for Leeds, Connor.
He did, of course. Yeah. We really like him. I think I don't know if he started his career at Leeds or it was quite early on in his career.
Yeah, guys. I think we got. Where did we get? I think we got him from Connor Shaughnessy. Was it Black? Or he might have been sent on loan to Blackpool or maybe to Scotland. I remember he wasn't great. He played in the sort of DM before and centre back. Where's he playing?
He's centre back now.
Centre back. Yeah. I remember him well. Well, not fondly. He wasn't that great, but hey ho, it is what it is.
Maybe he's come on. Maybe
yeah, no, 100%. Like we've sent so many players. Yeah, I mean, we sent Leif Davis to League One. He's now in the Premier League and we're in the Championship. We sent Liam Kitchen away. He's now at Coventry playing really well at centre back there. So these things happen, don't they? Sometimes players need to reset and go again. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. I were just going to ask you. That was my next question, but Farke's first touch has come in with it. How do you expect Pompey to set up on the weekend? Do you have a distinct style of play, and will the manager go with that, or is it we're going to Ellen Road, it's a tough place, let's go with a low block? Because we've seen it a lot last season, and we struggled to break teams down that do that. So how do you expect Pompey to line up at the weekend?
We had that exact problem with teams that would come to Fratton Park in League One, so we know what that's all about. We'll press, we'll be front-footed, we'll try and attack the game. We want to win every game. I'd be actually quite disappointed if we came and sat in and defended deep coming to your place, because that's not really what we've been all about. Obviously, it's difficult. I'm not basing any championship prior sort of what we're going to do on that, but the club haven't recruited over the summer to, I think, sit deep. We've recruited over the summer to get as many points as possible in the championship. So, I think we'll have a few good occasions this season. I'm expecting you to beat us quite heavily as a little bit of a preview if you're going to ask me a prediction. But, I'm honestly looking at it from an external point of view, but I think if anything, that squad is on par / maybe even stronger than the one that. And by the way, we were probably the only club at the playoff final that was supporting you in the country other than yourselves. Everybody else was on Southampton's side, but we were very much backing you guys that day.
I did garner a few Saints fans over the course of last season because we were, battling with them all the way throughout. So we have a few still come into my chat and say hello. Yeah. And a lot of them have come and said, I hope you smash them on the weekend. So, they'll be supporting us at the weekend, no doubt. I can imagine that. It's quite the rivalry, isn't it? It's quite the rivalry down there.
You guys are not averse to rivalries, I know. No, but, it's something that if you haven't experienced, it's difficult to, I think, comment on. And that's not just because I'm a fan of one of the clubs involved in the rivalry. But, I've been to many a South Coast derby over the years, and they get quite tasty, put it that way.
I can imagine. This Chris makes this point here, and it is music to my ears as well, but I do sort of tend to agree with what you're saying, Tom, in I would rather my team go out and give it a go and play the way we play. We've seen it with Bielsa in the Premier League. We went balls to the wall, we're gonna play our way, and we ended up finishing 9th in our first season. So, and look at Ipswich, for example. I think sometimes it's important to say, right, this is the way we play. Yes, as a fan base, we might get beat a couple of times, but ultimately we'll bloody some noses, win some points, and hopefully stay in the division. And that's probably the best way to go for me anyway. So in terms of I was going to ask you how confident you are going into this match, but you've just basically, gave us the lowdown. But what is your thoughts going into this specific fixture?
I think, and I don't want to upset anyone with a Pompey fan coming on a Leeds fan channel and saying this, but I know I said earlier on, and I sort of alluded to it, that catching you early, I just wonder if maybe, and this applies to basically every team that we're playing over the next month or so, is, I don't know whether the Somerville departure is going to affect you. It probably won't massively, but just if there was anything that had been sort of tinkered in the last couple of weeks, if you guys aren't completely ready to go, and we profit off the back of that, and the fact, because could you imagine we play you in February and you're motoring towards the title and you're in your groove? It's different, isn't it? Whereas if we're in just out the starting blocks and no one quite knows what it looks like and the championship hasn't taken shape yet, I just think we have maybe a slight little nugget in there that we're just maybe be able to take advantage of. Yeah, you never know. I mean, we might turn up and get absolutely schooled, and it absolutely wouldn't surprise me if we did so. I mean, and I'm not trying to sort of dress it up, but when we were in the doldrums of League Two, going to places like Accrington and Stanley, we could only dream of seeing our club play at places like Ellen Road sometime in the near future. So But I'd say that with a pinch of salt, because we're not just here to make up the numbers.
No, of course. And you've won things. Pompey are a big club, aren't they, Tom? Let's be honest.
We're not quite Leeds United, but
of course. But you are well supported. You're known up and down the land as being a big support club. You won an FA Cup more recently than what Leeds United have. Do you know what I mean? You are. Out of the three coming up for me, I'm not a big fan of Derby County. It is what it is. But yeah, Portsmouth, I'm actually happy and buzzing that yous are back in the league. I think you will really add something. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. I hope Pompey stay up, for sure.
I did a video on my channel asking various different Championship fans, and it's really nice that that's quite a widely shared view across multiple divides, is that everyone's just really happy to see us back, and we will try and as I said earlier, we'll come and give it a go. We'll give that competitive edge. We want to we'll try and make some noise in that way. In which is it a fantastic view from where we're positioned, or are we tucked away a little bit?
Yeah, tucked away a bit in where the south stand is. You're up there, mate. But it makes where the away fans are situated. If you go one up, it's great because you've got the south stand, which is arguably the most raucous stand, and you can really give it. But know that if you are getting battered, it's the same the other way. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair enough.
Yeah. It'll be a good day for you, no doubt, 100%. I think it's still stuck in the 80s though. The away fan era, but it is what it is, and you'll be used to it anyway. Being in League One and League Two more recently, you know.
That's all right. We don't mind that.
Nah, exactly. That's football at its rawest, isn't it? Really.
We want old school grounds to stay, don't we?
100%.
We don't want sort of. I mean, the place down the road that we spoke about earlier on is your standard red tissue box stadium, isn't it? It's not like Fratton Park with plenty of character. So
exactly.
Yeah. No, I really can't wait for. I mean, you see the sort of the Kaiser Chiefs on the telly, or you see them marching on together, and it's not actually something I've had the pleasure of experiencing in person. So I'm looking forward to because you do it quite well at Ellen Road, don't you? Looking forward to all the razzmatazz that comes with it. So that's something to look forward to.
The opening day as well is always special if you manage to get it at home. The sun's always shining in August. You know, everyone's got all the brand new kits on and that. It's going to look like a sea of nice yellow and white for a change. We finally got a yellow away kit, which is something we've asked for. Yeah, we've asked for years, and we were told, they don't sell that well. Then when they gave us it was the highest selling shirt they've ever done. So, I mean, it's like sometimes just listen to the fans and you might get it right, you know?
Nice retro badge as well. Very nice.
Brilliant. Yeah,
Very
it's
nice.
Brilliant. Yeah, it is. It's really nice. In terms of Leeds United, like you said, we're many people's favourites. I think we will go up this time. You know, I am pretty confident with Leeds United's chances this season. Just on what you said as well, actually, sorry, just to go back about catching us cold and stuff. We didn't actually get a win until the back end of August last season, and we beat Ipswich, but we did draw with Cardiff on the opening day at Ellen Road. We then got beat away at Birmingham City, so we didn't start well last season. But this season, we have had continuity. Yes, we've lost Archie Gray, we've lost Somerville, but we've still got some top players there and added. So I think having that continuity, having such a great pre-season, we might be a different animal on the weekend, I think.
I would also add to that as well. You've lost Archie Gray, but Jayden Bogle was not a bad replacement 100%. To come in. So I mean, he's probably one of the best options in that particular position that you could have gone for, isn't he? So I've kept a keen eye on the business at Leeds over the summer, and it's quite scary. I would assume there's nothing in the kind of the Nonto thing. Is that still something that you're hoping is gonna? There's also that guy at Norwich that you're interested in as well.
Johnny Rowe, yeah. I think, I know some don't agree with me, but I think Johnny Rowe coming, and I think Nonto will still go. I do think he'll still go, just because it's a lot of money. There'll be Premier League clubs in for him, and Everton apparently had a bid rejected that tabled around about 23 million. But if we bring in Johnny Rowe, I think they might go back to the negotiating table. But I hope they don't, because I'd like us to keep Nonto, and hopefully your selling point to him having, because he wanted to leave last summer, is look what happened with Somerville. He gave us a full season, got Player of the Year, now he's at West Ham. If you do that, you could then obviously go and get a bigger club than Everton, for example. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sure. But from a Leeds United perspective, who is it you're most concerned about, like, coming to Ellen Road? Is it? I know it's easy to say everyone, but is there a specific player you go, I'm a little bit worried about that one?
Well, I mean, it's probably. I don't think it plays into our hand massively, because even if you do lose Somerville and Nonto, it's still an incredibly strong side, isn't it? Yeah. I just think the options that you have for that front three are just absolutely terrifying. And I saw Jorginho Ruta and the goal that he scored. I don't know if I've butchered that pronunciation.
No, you smashed it actually, to be fair. Cool.
I saw the pre-season goal. I thought, oh my word, we're going there next weekend, and that's going to be absolutely dreadful. So no, it'll be a tall order to keep him quiet. If I was going to pick someone out, I'd probably go with him.
Yeah.
There you go. Jonathan agrees.
Yeah. He's absolutely phenomenal. And to be honest, look out for me. I'll tell you, Mateo Joseph. He's the new number 9. He's a youngster that we brought in from Espanyol a fair few seasons ago now, and he's finally now. He's the main man taking us into the season. So I think he's the new number 9, and like you say, we'll probably have Nonto, Rutter, Dan James on, behind him. So an Ampadu in midfield, who he's now the captain, and he's got that extra bit of bite about him. I mean, yeah, I'm excited for the season.
I've put Ampadu in my fantasy EFL team, so that's how much you trust him on that one. No, that's it's a scary team. It really is, and it's I think we'd be extremely lucky to get away with anything, let alone not a hammering. We'll see.
Yeah. Let's chat about it then. What are your expectations for this match specifically?
I don't know whether I can kind of go a fast start or whatever, and people always say that, don't they? And it's kind of I don't know whether Ellen Road's really the place that permits you to go and have a fast start, and I can imagine if you go a couple down early doors at Ellen Road, that place is incredibly unforgiving, isn't it? And you guys get going and it gets rocking. So stay in the game at 0-0 for as long as possible, I would imagine, is probably, and again, that's not to go back on what I said about not giving it a go earlier on, but just try and keep yourselves in the game for as long as you can. And then maybe a moment of quality and a bit of magic from one of our boys, that would be an ideal situation. But in a completely honest and non-biased view, which I've always tried to do on opposition previews I've done, I do think if we get away with anything less than a 3-0 defeat, I think it'd be probably a good day at the office from a Pompey point of view.
Yeah, that's my prediction as well, by the way. Like, I've been asked
not
a
few surprise
times, and I'm like, 3-0. I think 3-0's a decent one.
We might surprise you. Who knows?
Yeah,
we might
100%. And like I say, Tom, I hope, the rest of the season after this week, and apart from when we play you at Fratton Park, goes really, really well for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did notice you do have an EFL podcast as well, right? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that might be people kind of sit there watching me not just talk about coming on and talking about Pompey. I try and have a bit of a broader perspective. Yeah, no, so it's me, Ben Natman, who's a Fleetwood fan, Jack's an Oxford fan, and Jake is a Lincoln fan. So we've kind of got we're all obviously all in League One last season, so it was that League One podcast. Now it's that Football League podcast. So we're branching out, and we're trying to do a couple of bits and pieces on there. So yeah, head over to Fall Over Live, drop us a subscribe, and then if you fancy listening to a Football League podcast, head on over there as well. We'd much appreciate it. First episode out now. There you go.
Great stuff. I have tagged Tom's Twitter in the comments. It's there. You'll go straight on over there, and there you can get the link tree that'll take you through to these different podcasts. And of course, no, not a problem at all. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Yeah, and like I say, good luck for the rest of the season, and no doubt I will speak to you again next time around. Hopefully, anyway, if you want to come back.
Are you there Saturday?
I'm not, mate. I'll be working. I still have a season ticket. I refuse to give it up, but I do. I work them now from a watch along perspective. You see, so yeah, this is my full-time gig now. So
best seat in the house.
Yeah,
best seat in the house.
Exactly. But listen, enjoy Leeds. Enjoy the game as much as you can, because you probably will be beat. But have a good day. Have a good time, and I will let you shoot, Tom.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. Thank you very much. There was Tom. What a sound guy. Like to get his little digs in as well. I absolutely love that. I hate, when people ask me if I'm going and I have to go, no, because I hate it, because I feel like I'm not a real fan anymore. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's painful when people ask me that, because I do go, I'm not a real fan anymore. But top bloke. Now make sure you go on over and go to his Twitter. Now while we were live, I was trying to find the channel, but when I clicked the link tree, it wasn't working. So we need to find. I've got that Football League podcast, but I need to find his. I'm assuming it'll be YouTube, won't it? Let me have a look. I'm trying to find it, but because I think it's only fair that we... there we go. I've got it. Right, okay. Here we go. I found it. 16,000 subscribers. There you go. So right, okay. What I'm going to do for you now, just quickly, is put that in the chat as well. So let's get everyone to go on over and drop a sub to 4-0 written all over it. So there we go. Some great content there as well. He has spoke with Vizzy, the Burnley fan. Hopefully I'll be able to speak to him this season as well. He's a top guy. Talking to Jack as well from Plymouth. Oh, he's got the connections. So there it is. I'm going to pin that in the chat for you as well. So make sure you go on over and check that out. Not a problem. There we go. Replace pin message. He's here now. He's here, right? There we go. So all we need to do is click that and go on over and subscribe. I want to see you all do that. You all do me a solid, Just Joe Raid and all that jazz. Do that now. Go on over. Some great content over there as well. Okay? Top bloke, wasn't he? Top bloke. And I like it when there's, what's the word? Like a bit of honesty about the situation, right? Like, oh, look, under no illusions. Very tough game. Hopefully we can do it. Not come on and say, we're going to smash you. That's me though, innit? I do. I'm the guy that goes on and goes, yeah, we're playing City. Aye, we're going to beat you. It is what it is. I don't think we would beat City though. Pompey have a tough start. They do, based on what he said. Sunderland does, Luton, etc. But sometimes that's not such a bad thing. To get the tough games out of the way, hopefully nick a few points, and then from there you go, right, okay, now let's get some wins on the board. We've actually come through such a bad patch, and and we've managed to get a few points. Now let's move on. Maybe some of the newly promoted sides will surprise us. That's the thing. I don't think Oxford will, and I hope Derby don't. Don't like Derby. But I don't mind Pompey, so hopefully Pompey do it, but not on the weekend. Yeah, not on the weekend, right? Leeds United will hopefully win that game 3-0. I'm excited. Honestly, I can't lie to you. The excitement within my body is palpable. Like, football is back, baby, you know? At the end of the day, now it's just wall-to-wall. It's wall-to-wall content again. Tomorrow we'll have the presser reaction. We've got White Rose Rivals. Then on Friday, 7:30, we'll be there. Sheffield United versus Preston. We will be there. And then on Saturday, that's going to be followed by the big match preview live, by the way, myself and other content creators, as we tend to do. Who they are yet, I'm not too sure. I need to put the feelers out, but we will be there. And then on the Saturday, we've got the live post-match, etc. It's so good to be back, isn't it? It's so good to be back. Let's have a look on, have a look on the Twitter sphere. Sorry. Just to see if there's been anything since we've departed. Replacement for both, says LUFC BP. I'm not sure. I don't think Norwich are going to replace Sarah and Rowe with just the one individual, as opposed to, I tell you who's doing some serious business, West Ham. And of course, if Liverpool get Zubamendi, again, that's a great buy for them. I'm excited for the Premier League as well. Do you know what I mean? I know some of you probably don't watch it because we're not there, but I'm excited. You've got to be excited for the Premier League as well, folks, because we're going to be back there next season. You've got to see who the opposition is. This season's going to be very, very good. Very, very good. I believe it'll be very good. You know? I hope you're all staying safe out there as well. Like, in the northeast, my God, like Darlow, Middlesbrough, Stockton, Sunderland, Newcastle. Everyone's out everywhere. Shops were shutting early. People were told to stay indoors. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are all good. You know, you are all good. I've now had to get to the point where I don't look at Twitter. It's very hard for me to do it because I'll go on to check notifications to see Leeds news, and then I find myself going on and scrolling, and then I get do you know what I mean? I'm trying to stay away from that shit. I even managed to stay away from some of the comments today because I thought all these comments on my video are going to be about my grammar and all that sort of stuff, and I just hate the grammar police, and everyone's like, you knew what you were doing. Some guy went, you're using AI to content creation. I was like, well, no, it's still me talking. Like, you're not talking to a robot. I use a program called vidIQ, which gets promoted to every YouTuber, and loads of people have used them. Loads of people that watch it. It ain't that deep. It just helps with tags. what tags to put on specific videos. It bloody cost me 50 quid a month. You know what I mean? But it does the trick, doesn't it? Because, you know, you were all spurred on to watch that video. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I only use X for the wrestling. X, man. The wrestling. By the way, you know I'm a big wrestling fan. I know it does some of your head in. But it is lit right now. It is amazing right now. The new Judgment Day, the Terror Twins, you know, the Wyatt Six, everything. It's just amazing right now. SmackDown as well, Friday. The Donny's back, isn't he? The Tribal Chief is back. My sound's a bit low. I'll come a bit closer to the mic. I was just conscious. Everyone was telling me I'm coming too close and it's going crackly. So I've just like got it on its highest setting and just moved it off centre a little bit. So hopefully that's better. Joe, can I get a Santa Claus? Yes, you can. The Santa Claus. The Santa Claus. Yeah, West Ham looking at Trippier. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Listen, you had it here first. Yeah. I mean, you didn't. But I'm still going with the thought process of, yeah, Rowe comes in, Nonto leaves, Leeds, get centre midfielder, loan another winger and left back, and that'll be a lot. Santa Claus. And if Nonto goes and it's for something derisory, we'll get told he got the Santa Claus. But we'll see. We'll see. It's all good. I'm only playing, but probably does have a Santa Claus. You're off to Ibiza. Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it. I'd love to have taken a holiday in September, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I want to get a car, don't I? I think I might have to. I think I might be on the road in September, folks. Peace. And then I'll be down in Yorkshire. Get myself one of them little road mics, and we'll be there. It's not the Santa Claus, it's Mr. Hickey, the Christmas boo. He loves me, and I love you. All that shit. Yeah, probably Jack, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Left back midfielder and Somerville replacement. Yeah. Joe, we at the defect time at mid-30s, lads. Yeah, shit innit. When I hit 35 was the first time I realised, damn, I'm getting old. Not damn, I'm getting old, but like, I realised how old I was, because I realised I'm closer to 40 than I am 30, and it was like, shit. At my next birthday, I'm going to be 37, peeps. You know? But you know what? I'll still be the hardest working man in the YouTube game in 60, still sat here doing watch-alongs. Hopefully, from another country. That's the dream. We will be there. And I tell you what as well, I tell you who tried to trigger me on Twitter earlier on, Locks. I wonder if he's going to enjoy his season like we'll enjoy ours. We will be there, Mr. Lachlan. I know you'll be watching. We will be there, because you're a secret Leeds United fan. And we give you some relevancy. Alright? You, happy 60th to you, my man. Liv Morgan's Revenge Tour. Damn. Yeah. Becky, it is. It is, man. I'm telling you. Young at heart. Becky's still young at heart, man. There she is in a dress. There's the mad dress where I said to her, I love your dress, you're cool. And she started having a go at me because I'm ginger. And then we became the best of friends. Didn't we? Big up to you, man. Do you know the demographic and people never can understand it? That's why I know that I can still be good doing watch-alongs in my 60s, because although no disrespect to my demographic, a lot of you won't be here anymore. Because by the time I'm 60, 30 years will be past, so Dave will be 97 if you get me. Do you know what I mean? I mean that with the best will in the world, Dave. But my demographic is actually old. It's actually old, so yeah. I'm doing it for the I was going to say the gilfs. Doing it for the gilfs and the gilfs. Gilf, and gilf, like granddad and gilf. Doing it for the gilfs. Yeah, here's what it is. Yes, I hope you're here as well, Dave, man. I hope you're here, still kicking it, man, in 97. We are the Moots, we are the Moots, we are the Moots. Good film, that is, Quadrophenia. Very good film, mate. Very good film. I'm just having a look now. I'm going to show you. Just let me check my audience, actually. It's always mad when I'm like, what? Where's my audience demographic? Yeah. So, 94.1% of them are male. No shocks there. 5.8% female. You're one of the 5.8, Becky. And my biggest demographic, yeah, is 55 to 64. 55 to 64. 31% of my viewers are between the ages of 55 to 64. That's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. I've got 13.5% that are over 65. Mad. 35, yeah. I don't get, I think youngest really I get is 25 to 34. Yeah. Yeah, it's mad. It is mad. Yeah, I'm 97%. Chris. Yeah, Ryan, honestly, that's my biggest demographic, bro, is 55 to 64. And 13% of them are over 65. You know what I mean? And then we've got 45 to 54. 35 to 44 is 18%. But the younger generation, nah. Yeah. It's because you give the viewer a Facebook dad, pal. Yeah, man. Just wear me out on my sleeve, innit? It is what it is. I love you all, though. You know what I mean? I do. And I'm really, really... John Lux says, that's blown my brain. Nah, serious, did you not know? Honestly, I think I've shared it before. Yeah. 75% from the UK. 4.5% in Ireland. 3.5% in the States. 2.8% in the Australia. 0.08% in Spain. But yeah. Can actually even go even further. What's this? Yeah. Oh, it goes. Let's have a look. Yeah. Yeah, 55 to 64. 29.7% of them are male and 1.9% female. There you go. Big up to you, Pete. Doing it for the old designer. See what I mean? Doing it for you, CB. Doing it for you, brother. Big up, man. Love that. Anyway, we're rambling now and talking shite, aren't we? As we always tend to do on the Just Joe football show. I'll be back tomorrow for your press conference reaction. Maybe do a morning pre-record. As you know, I've got my kids. Harry's in bed, and I'm going to go watch Final Destination now with my girls. It is what it is. We're on Final Destination 3, the roller coaster, where the two lasses are in the sunbeds. Do you remember that? With the sunbeds? And it goes... yeah, it's quite a mad scene, that. Quite a mad scene. So we're going to go watch that and have some supper. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. And peace and love and all that jazz. Bye-bye now, love. Thank you.